Johnson's mentor. He used to come into Fuller's offices darn near crawling on his knees, crying to Fuller, "No one's buying the magazine. Mr. Fuller, I did what you told me to do, and it just ain't working." Fuller said, "Shut up, man. Go out there and sell the things." See, A.G. Gaston did the same thing to me. After I got through spending a day with A.G. Gaston, tears just came out of my eyes because of my financial situation. And I was cutting off my tape recorder and putting my papers into my briefcase, and Mr. Gaston said, "Young man, what in the world is wrong?" And I told him all the things that I said. "Mr. Gaston, I wouldn't blame my wife if she left me. I don't have any money and this and that." So he hands me a Kleenex from behind his desk. He says, "Tell me when you're through." "I'll tell you when I'm through. You didn't hear what I said, Mr. Gaston." He said, "Young man," he says, "that the successful individual must be tested in the furnace of adversity. Fear not, young man. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you are satisfied with where you are in life, then step aside for the man who isn't." Brother, I straightened up. Any other questions?
I wanted you to...
Mo better!
I was wondering if you could comment on risk aversion in the black community. Any suggestions on strategies on how we might minimize?
Well, sometimes it's risky not to take a risk. See what I'm saying? Sometimes it's risky not to take a risk. I mean, life is risk and reward. Just coming here is one risk. I mean, you can't escape risk. It's how you look at it. You see what I'm saying? Is there a risk aversion? I choose to say not, particularly in the black community. Okay? But there's loads of opportunity. I mean, life is one big risk. And all success is, all opportunity is the creator knocking on your subconscious asking you if you want more. But you must have faith. You must step out there on faith. All my neighbors laughed at me. All. I had a 1981 beat up Datsun 510. It was silver when we bought it, turned gray, faded. We used to go to cocktail parties with our neighbors, and everybody would huddle in the kitchen. They would say, "What's gray and black and lies in the grass?" And I was so stupid. I say, "What?" They said, "Your car." He ain't laughing now. Life is one big risk. You must have faith. Two types of faith. Faith in self, faith in others. See what I'm saying? Faith in self, faith in others. And what I found out from the achievers that I interviewed, the faith that we so blindly entrust in others, they keep for themselves. For instance, I flew from Atlanta to Denver to San Francisco, right? When I got on the plane, I didn't go into the cockpit of the airplane to see if the pilot had his license to take this thing off in Atlanta. No, I put faith in it. Sometimes I question that faith. We hit some turbulence. I'm staying at the Oakland Park Hotel or whatever. We stay on the 20th floor, right? Get out of the elevator and go up the 20th floor. You know, I have the faith that the elevator is going to take us up there. I don't call the hotel and see, when's the last thing this thing's been checked out? You see, that's faith that I have that I'm putting in somebody else. We all have that faith. All high-achieving men and women, they keep that faith for themselves. Like Walter Turnbull, the Harlem Boys Choir, he said, "No, I'll pull this off." It took him 25 years. I asked Walter Turnbull what is success. He said, "Hearing the voices of my men." And that brother is mentally tough. It's so quiet in school, you can go in there and just hear grass growing. As soon as you walk in the Harlem Boys Choir, their head offices, he's got a big sign. "Hats off. Discipline is the key." Next question.
It just sounds like you have a lot of spiritual beliefs and you believe in God.
Yeah.
And you mentioned faith. Did you find that as you interviewed other successful people also believe in God?
Oh man, there were times that I thought I was in church with some of these folks. And like I said, I spent a day without Sharp, and I didn't get that feeling from him. But I certainly got that feeling from Susan. No, I'm being honest. I'm not saying that he isn't. I just, he was, he liked to have a good time. But with Susan Taylor, with A.G. Gaston, with George Johnson, Johnson Products. Woo! Man, Wally Amos. Who else? Oh, of course, Ben Carson.
you interview Bill Cosby as well?
I was on Bill Cosby's show, and I got a chance just to ask him a few questions. I mean, he's surrounded by a sea of lieutenants. But Bill Cosby is very funny. I mean, just the little time that I had with him, you know, I just got a feeling he just, he applauded what I was doing. He told me to keep on going, and just a very nice guy. Same with George Halsey of Amway. He was another quick George Halsey story. Spent a day with him in North Carolina and talk about spiritual, okay? Very spiritual individual, and he just had something that he just wanted to give back to the community. And so he took me out to lunch, and we were coming back from lunch. We drove through the sort of seedy part of Greensboro, North Carolina. And there was some brothers hanging out on the street, you know, drinking wine. It was a work day. It was, I don't know, it was either a Monday through Friday or something like that. And so I said, Mr. Halsey, I said, what's going through your mind when you see this? And he says, man, if I could just have 5 or 10 minutes with each of them, man, just let them, you know, explain to them that it's a better way. You see what I'm saying? Like this. So at the end of the day, I'm wrapping my stuff up and I'm collecting my papers, and I had my coat off. I was relaxed. And as I was leaving, I said goodbye to George's wife, Ruth, and I said goodbye to his kids, and I had my jacket slung over my shoulder, and I shook hands with Mr. Halsey and I said, thank you for, you know, allowing me to come in your life and interview you and spend this time with you. And I'm walking out the door. George Halsey says, oh yeah, young man, I just got one request. And I said, sure, Mr. Halsey, whatever I can do. He says, don't quit. And so I had my jacket over my shoulder, and cavalierly, I just turned around and said, oh, Mr. Halsey, you don't have to worry about it. I'm not going to quit. That guy got up from his desk, walked up to me, grabbed me by the lapels, and I said, man, don't quit. We need this message. I said, I'm not going to quit. That type of inner power that they want to give to somebody, that type of thing. So. Last but not least, yes.
What are you going to talk about tomorrow?
Huh?
What are you going to speak about tomorrow?
I'm going to speak about the 4 major principles of success. See, Napolean Hill came up with 17 surefire principles of success, but he tells you that the first 4 are more important than anything else. Definiteness of purpose, mastermind, applied faith, and going the extra mile. Some interesting and fascinating stories. There's nothing to fear. You're as good as the best, as strong as the mightiest too. You can pass any battle or test, for there's no one just like you. There's only one you in the world today, so nobody else you see can do your work in just a fine way. You're the only you'll to be. There's nothing to fear. You can and you will, for you're the invincible you. So set your foot on the highest hill. There's nothing you cannot do.
Great.